I'd be dreaming that someone broke into my house. So I'd grab my pistol, which would probably be like under my pillow or something, and I'd hold it up. And this person would be coming in, I'd point the gun, and I'd be terrified. And I could barely pull the trigger. I was so scared. And when the guy's coming closer, and I pull the trigger, and the bullet comes out of the gun in like slow motion. And it's just going in slow motion up to the person who broke in, and it just like touches them lightly on the chest and falls to the ground.
I could fly. And I could fly and fly up into the trees and fly up onto the corner of a building and to another building. And
I'm tied up. I can't move my arms, hands, anything. I'm tied up to some kind of a post or a tree of some sort. I look down and I see that I'm wearing boots and some sort of a uniform. And in front of me there's a creature who is far taller than I am. And it's some being that's almost a skeleton and reddish in color with these with wings of some sort and with hands with long fingers. And at the end of each finger is a long fingernail. And this being comes up and looks straight at me and then reaches out and reaches into my chest and pulls out my heart and shows it to me.
I'm only 6 years old, but I wear these shoes that are a kind of hard sole under, so I can hear my steps clapping on the floor. And I open the green door, and all of a sudden there comes sort of big red pillows with one butt in the middle, and they comes in like thousands spinning around. And then all of a sudden all these pillows just transform into pink elephants, like the same size, flying. So I keep jogging around, and then I just remember I tried to figure out where the green door was, where I came in.
I'm lying naked on a mesa, and on another mesa I see the most beautiful leopard. And then he jumps right on top of me and he looks right into my eyes, and next thing I know, we're having this incredible sex. We're just rolling around, and it's just a big blur of skin and spots and skin and fur, and then I feel this incredible energy just fill my body.
I woke up in this elevator with a number of different beings. They weren't human, some were, and they're all looking at me really strangely. And they're going, "Get your suit on." I'm looking at them, "What do you mean, get your suit on?" And it was a suit that it was like a second layer of skin that melded and molded to your skin, and it became one, and you can breathe in different atmospheric conditions.
I started walking into the town, and it was this very steep, gravelly walkway into an ocean that I could see had beautiful kelp kind of moving gently through it, and with all these little canals. And I became really excited about exploring the sea. So as I was walking into this town, I could hear people speaking in Spanish, and I thought, am I in Ecuador? Am I in Mexico? Where am I? And I could see people kind of loitering outside of their shops, and everyone I think was wearing white, and it was really gravelly, very, very old, and I felt very special being in that town. And I slowly started walking, and the water started rising to my knees, and then to my waist, and then up to my stomach, and then to my neck, and I finally got in the water completely, and I just started swimming, and I saw these beautiful life.
I was actually attending my own funeral. I didn't see myself, so to speak, but I realized that everyone was attending my own funeral.
I'm in my early 20s. I'm in an entertainment complex. It's like a massive theme park, thousands of people. They're all surrounding a large temple in the shape of a pyramid. And there are pools of water at the top of the pyramid that travel deep into the earth. And I've been chosen by the managers of this theme park to be trained as a free diver. My trainer offers me an injection of some psychotropic drug that'll allow me to go into a trance state as I am free diving in order to swim deeper and deeper. And in this trance state, as I'm diving, I enter into a new reality.
I had to give an award. George Bush had required me to go find this person who was the recipient of the award. And I had to go into a apartment complex that was like in Larkspur or someplace like that. And I didn't really want to give the award. It was, I just had to find this random person. And so I knocked on a bunch of apartment doors. And finally I found a person who was home, and she had a lot of dogs. And I said, well, I'm here to present you with this award from George Bush. And she's like, I'm not a Republican. I don't really want an award. But I told her that she was going to get a set of really nice sateen sheets. And she decided that, okay, we should take it. And so we went down to the lobby, and George Bush was hanging around there with all his entourage, bodyguards and people, and he handed her over the beautiful, I think of course they were purple sateen sheets.
I'd been asked to help this Japanese family take a phone down off their wall. They had used it to talk with their grandmother. Their grandmother died, so now they didn't need the phone anymore. The thing is, the grandmother was still there. She was a ghost, only I could see her. And she didn't want them to take the phone down. So I talked the family into leaving the phone on the wall, closest to their living space, where they have their meals and where they are together and where they talk. And they put that on the wall. And the grandmother was sitting in the corner, smiling and rocking herself very slowly.
It was as if I was an individual in an audience coming from another space and time. From this space and time, it was almost like it was the 1950s or 60s. All of a sudden, I became a part of that time and space. And it was as if I was an older woman. I could really feel the age in my body. You know, there was a place where it was so surreal. I was so embodied in this form, being an older woman, and at the same time it felt a little bit disorienting, like, is this a dream or is this real?
On the water, I become aware of a whale. The whale starts moving towards the shore, and then moving on to the shore, and then up above me on the landscape, it moves up next to another whale. They rotate and roll onto their sides and up into a standing position as elephants. So these whales have become elephants.
I was in Australia and I was bike riding with Bart, but I didn't realize we were in Australia until we were kind of in the middle of the dream, and we were traveling, we were on our bikes, and we were pedaling in this road that gave way very quickly to dunes. And so all of a sudden we were pedaling, and the tires on our bikes weren't strong enough for the terrain that we were on, and so we got stuck very quickly in really deep sand. But arrayed out across these dunes were these beautiful houses that looked like they were smaller versions of San Francisco Victorians. They were lower, but really brilliantly colored. And at one point we had to cross traffic, and I remember trying to figure out what side of the road the Australians drove on.
Okay, I'm running down a long hallway. I think it's a hallway, and it turns sort of, as it gets lighter, I realize it's a temple. And I can feel the cold tiles under my bare feet. I look down at my feet, and they're small feet, so I'm a child. And not only am I a child, I'm a female child, and I'm running for my life. I am the child of one of the pharaohs of Egypt, one of dozens of children that he has had. He's not around, and the chief or the head priest is killing all of the children of the Pharaoh, and I'm one of the last ones that's surviving.
I was in a suburban landscape, and there was some sort of threat or war going on, and we were trying to find my mum, and Mum's dead, so that was kind of odd to find her there, but it seemed very natural that she would be there. All the time kind of under the pressure of escaping from whatever was oncoming, and yet also kind of just mesmerised by the fact that, you know, I'm back with this person that I've missed so much, that's, you know, that I know is dead, suddenly is alive in this place. Sometimes I can't quite work out whether which bit's the dream, you know, whether the sleeping is the dream or the waking is the dream. I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up one day